US President Donald Trump has signed a law backing anti-government demonstrators in Hong Kong. Well, the legislation mandates an annual review of that favourable trade status that Washington grants Hong Kong. It also threatens sanctions against Chinese officials who commit human rights abuses in the territory. China's denounced the bill, calling it a serious interference in its domestic affairs, but it has been welcomed as a victory by Hong Kong's pro-democracy movement.
The US, no matter the administration and the Congress, they sent a clear signal to President Xi. Hong Kong even is under the hardline rule of Beijing. But we are also the global city that will have foreign businessmen or also expats live here. And how to safeguard Hong Kong's political and economic freedom, that's also would be the criteria and also one of the issues that President Xi or Carrie should not ignore.
Well, joining us for more on these developments from Hong Kong now is DW reporter Sherry Chan. Good to see you, Sherry. The activists are obviously pleased, but tell us more about Beijing's response.
Well, right after Trump signed the legislation, Beijing reacted furiously as expected. It has summoned the U.S. ambassador to demand the U.S. not to interfere in China's internal affairs. And it also asked the U.S. to stop causing further damage to bilateral relations. And also, actually, in a statement, the Foreign Ministry also said that the legislation harbors sinister intentions and is also an act of bullying. It also accused the U.S. of being the culprit of instability in Hong Kong. Beijing also warned that they would take firm countermeasures, although they didn't mention what countermeasures would be. And it also said that the U.S. will bear consequences if it insists to pass the law.
All right, so what about then on the ground itself? Has the university, for example, now been cleared of those protesters?
It is very hard to estimate actually how many people are still inside the campus. Actually, in the past few days, there were several different groups trying to enter the university to look for the protesters. One group organized by newly elected district councillors, they went inside and they said they met two protesters inside, and another group organized by the school administration, they said they met one woman. But actually, right after the police announced that they would conduct this search in the morning, one protester inside the campus met the press, and he said that there were around 20 people still inside. And he also asked the police to retreat immediately because he said that everyone who chose to stay inside, they had completely lost trust on the police. And he said that if the police would retreat, they would leave the campus on their own.
Right, but on that point, I mean, the police say that this is a clean-up operation, but is there the possibility that they may arrest protesters who they find there on the campus?
Well, before the police entered the campus this morning, they emphasized that this operation would just focus on removing explosive and dangerous items to make sure that the environment in the campus is safe. And they also said that if they encountered any individuals in the campus who need medical treatment, they said that they will not make immediate arrests, but they would only record their personal details. But they didn't mention what they would do with these individuals who have their personal details recorded.
All right, DW's Sherry Chan monitoring those developments in Hong Kong for us as police enter the campus there in Hong Kong after an 11-day siege. Thanks very much indeed.